Welcome back to our channel, Exposing the Great Australian Government. Treason from within, Queensland, and there's our proper Royal Coat of Arms with the lion and the unicorn. So, Criminal Code Act 1899, being enacted by the Queen's Most Excellent Majesty, by and with the advice and consent of the Legislative Assembly of Queensland in Parliament assembled, and by the authority of the same, as follows.
That there is the enacting manner and form of Crown authority. What we've got today is it's just nothing to do with that whatsoever.
So, punishment in special cases, public seals, etc. Now we've just seen the public seals. Number 1, if the thing forged, A, purports to be or is intended by the offender to be understood to be or to be used as the Great Seal of the United Kingdom or of Queensland, or Her Majesty's Privy Seal, or any privy signet of Her Majesty, or Her Majesty's Royal Sign Manual, or the seal of the Governor, or any public seal lawfully appointed to be used for authenticating an act of state in any part of Her Majesty's dominions, or B, is a document having on it or affixed to it any such seal, signet, or sign manual, or anything which purports to be or is intended by the offender to be understood to be any such seal, signet, or sign manual, the offender is liable to imprisonment with hard labour for life. Page 54, Schedule 2 continued. Supreme Court of Queensland Act 1991. Number 12, Appointment of Chief Justice. Number 1, the Governor in Council may, by commission, appoint a judge to be Chief Justice. 53. 53. See the Constitution of Queensland 2001, Section 59, Appointment of Judges for the oath or affirmation requirement. Our Queensland Constitution Act of 1867, the Governor may constitute and appoint in our name and on our behalf all such judges. Section 14. This section was removed in their Australia Acts Request Act 1985. Section 14 is referendum entrenched. No referendum, no act. Treason from within. Constitution of Queensland 2001, Schedule 1, continued. Oath or affirmation of allegiance and of office. Judge. I, with his name, AB, do sincerely promise and swear, or for an affirmation, do sincerely promise and affirm, that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Her or His Majesty, name of the Sovereign, as lawful Sovereign of Australia, and to her or his heirs and successors, according to law.
Now, the lawful Sovereign of Australia is their Australia, because don't forget, their Australia is an abstract entity and a sovereign independent federal nation, is the Queen of Australia. And as in the second reading speech they tell you, it's the annotated constitution for Queensland's Constitution 2001 is Queen of Australia.
So, as a judge of the Supreme Court of Queensland or District Court of Queensland, and or as title of other office, for example, Chief Justice of Queensland, I will at all times and in all things do equal justice to all persons and discharge the duties and responsibilities of the office according to law, to the best of my knowledge and ability, without fear, favour or affection. So help me God. Or omitted for an affirmation.
So in their system they removed humbly relying on the blessings of Almighty God. They don't consolidate it. That's what it's not actually removed, it's just not consolidated. That means they don't bring it forward. So They've just all sold their souls.
So what do you gain by selling your soul? A sovereign is a king, queen, or other monarch. At present, Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II is the Queen of Australia. Religious leaders agreed to this treason when they sold their souls to the treasonous political parties. Considering Whitlam in 1973 created the abstract Queen of Australia, this voids all acts for their enforcements are void. Australian Electoral Act 1973, Australian Citizenship Act 1973, Family Court of Australia Act 1975, Federal Court of Australia Act 1976, Australian Federal Police Act 1979, High Court of Australia Act 1979. This low-life treasonous High Court of their Australia sit on top of all political party courts. The Constitution Commission 1988 proposed alteration to the Constitution. You need a referendum for the Queen of Australia. All the above are thrown under the bus. Treason from within. There's the Queensland Corporation seal again. Constitution of Queensland 2001, Act number 80 of 2001. 2. Commencement. This Act commences on the 6th of June 2002. Copyright to the State of Queensland. Part 5. Powers of the State. Division 1. General. 51. Powers of the State. Number 1. The executive government of the State of Queensland, the State, has all the powers and legal capacity of an individual.
The State, remember, has no crown and constitutional authority. It is a private corporation system.
Number 2. The State may exercise its powers A. Inside and outside Queensland, and B. Inside and outside Australia. 3. This part does not limit the State's powers. Example: this part does not affect any power a minister has apart from this part to bind the State by contract. Division 2. Commercial activities. Number 52. Definitions for Division 2. In this division, commercial activities includes A. Commercial activities that are not within the ordinary functions of the State, and B. Commercial activities of a competitive nature, and C. Activities declared by an Act to be commercial activities, but does not include activities declared by an Act not to be commercial activities. State includes a public sector unit. Number 53. Commercial activities by State. 1. The State may carry out commercial activities. 2. This section is sufficient statutory authority for the State to carry out a commercial activity. 3. Commercial activities may be carried out A. Without further statutory authority, and B. Without prior appropriation from the Consolidated Fund for the purpose. 4. Commercial activities may be carried out A. Inside and outside Queensland, and B. Inside and outside Australia.
What you got to realise here, these commercial activities include creating a local government, controlling. Remember, they turn around and change the definition of land to metres. We have it in our system as roods, purchase and acres. So they've turned around and created a commercial activities with their local government acts. All these councillors are just working at commercial activities for the Minister of Local Government. It's just a commercial activities to screw you, because you still think you own your land when you own absolutely nothing. And when you look at the definition of land, it includes the buildings on it. So you get your house built, you turn around and think you can pass it on, sell it and all this sort of thing, but you own nothing to sell. And what they consider rates is your rent for you to the government or to the political parties because they own it. We've got to realise political parties are not within our Commonwealth of Australia Constitution Act 1901 as proclaimed and gazetted. This is all commercial activities by political parties. Wake up.
Number 54. Commercial activities by minister. A minister may carry out commercial activities for the state, spur the extortion racket, as well as cancels. The list goes on. 55. Delegation by minister. 1. A minister may delegate a power of the state to an appropriately qualified officer of the state.
Just remember, the state has the power of an individual, nothing more.
Number 2. An officer of the state may subdelegate the delegated power to another appropriately qualified officer of the state. 3. In this section, appropriately qualified in relation to a delegated power includes having the qualifications, experience or standing appropriate to exercise the power. Example of standing: a person's level of employment in the entity in which the person is employed. Officer of the state means A chief executive or employee of a public sector unit.
I had a meeting when we were in all this trouble with the Chief Executive Officer with National Parks and that system, and his attitude was, while the courts give it to us, we will take it. In other words, he wasn't considering whether it was right or wrong. As long as these treasonous courts, purported courts, gave them the authority, they could take it. But these treasonous courts are under that public seal of the state and are part of the treason that goes with it.
B. An officer of the public service. Number 57. Supreme Court and District Court. There must be a Supreme Court of their Queensland and a District Court of their Queensland. 58. Supreme Court Superior Jurisdiction. Number 1. The Supreme Court has all the jurisdiction necessary for the administration of justice in their Queensland. Number 2. Without limiting subsection 1, the court, A, is the Superior Court of Record in their Queensland and the Supreme Court of General Jurisdiction in and for the state, and B, has, subject to the Commonwealth Constitution, unlimited jurisdiction at law, in equity and otherwise. Their Commonwealth Constitution is copyrighted and is together with the Australia Act 1986, which is total political party treason. Australia Acts Request Act 1985, an act to enable the constitutional arrangements affecting the Commonwealth and the states to be brought into conformity with the status of the Commonwealth of Australia as a sovereign, independent and federal nation, and place their corporation seal and copyrighted to their changed constitutional definitions our primary law, an act to constitute the Commonwealth of Australia 9th of July 1900, which equals total treason.
They've used their copyrighted or their trademarked seal over it, which is a public functionary seal. And if you know, if you go into all states' acts today, they use public functionary seals to get, or look-alike public functionary seals, because the simple fact is they can't use the Royal Coat of Arms because there's no Crown or constitutional authority from 1985 forward.
So the question must be asked, when was the referendum to create the status of the Commonwealth of Australia as a sovereign, independent and federal nation in a geographical sense? And remember the Oxford Dictionary? Status, It's a noun, the official classification given to a country, and the Oxford Dictionary meaning for conformity. It's a noun, compliance with conventions, rules or law. By using the word status, the political parties have dictated that. That is the definition of their Commonwealth of Australia as a sovereign, independent and federal nation in a geographical sense. Therefore, the state political parties, by joining that system, their definition changed from being an original states shall mean such states as are parts of the Commonwealth at its establishment. And it went to the treasonous political parties, sovereign, independent and federal nation in a geographical sense, which is treason. Queensland, under the status of a sovereign, independent and federal nation in a geographical sense, political parties took ownership of everything. Land is now measured in metres. The status of the Commonwealth of Australia as a sovereign, independent and federal nation in a geographical sense. Everything is now registered to the Queensland Government. No more Government of Queensland. As is clearly shown in the above, this is not a Parliament of the people, by the people, for the people. This is a corporation of treasonous political parties with the intent to extract as much blood as they can, mostly done by changing definitions, but using the same words, all done behind the people's back. In the referendum of 1999, the writ was established by the treasonous political party's owned and controlled traitor, Governor-General. The people still said no to the treasonous political party's republic. Therefore, by the treasonous political parties taking no notice, they have enforced treason upon themselves and all those that are helping enforce their treason.